It's Christmas Eve, 5 years after I vanished from my family's dinner table without a backward glance. I'm halfway across the world, strapping into the cockpit of an F-35 Lightning II, the roar of those twin engines drowning out every doubt that's ever clawed at my soul. My gloved hands grip the stick, heart pounding like a war drum. One wrong move, and it's game over, not just for me, but for the squad behind me, the convoy on the ground counting on my eyes in the sky. That's when the radio crackles, Valkyrie lead, you've got a lock. Bogies at 3 o'clock. Bogies. Enemy fighters, ghosts in the clouds, painted with malice. I bank hard left, G-forces slamming me into the seat, and whisper to myself, not today. But rewind that clock 15 years earlier, to a sticky summer night in rural Virginia, where the air smelled of honeysuckle and barbecue smoke. My brother Marcus is 15, all gangly limbs and cocky grins, fresh off his first junior ROTC drill meet, medal dangling from his neck like a badge of destiny. Dad, Colonel Robert Hale, retired Vietnam vet with a chest full of ribbons and a heart full of ghosts, claps him on the back so hard the deck chair creaks. Mom, sweet, steadfast Elaine, beams like she's just won the lottery, her hands fluttering as she plates another helping of ribs. And me? Victoria Hale, 12 years old, barefoot in a sundress that itches like regret, perched on the edge of the porch swing, invisible as the fireflies blinking in the dusk. To Marcus, Dad toasts, his voice gravelly from too many smokes and not enough sleep. The Hale who'll make us proud. Air Force Academy bound, just like his old man. Glasses clink. Laughter ripples. Marcus shoots me a wink, the kind that says, "You're next, kid sis, but let's be real, you'll be the one pouring the coffee when I get my wings." I force a smile, but inside? It's a spark in dry tinder. That night, as cicadas screamed their symphony, I lay in bed staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars on my ceiling, cheap plastic knockoffs Mom bought to keep my dreams grounded, and vowed, one day, you'll choke on that coffee, Marcus. And I'll be the one flying circles around you. I'm Victoria Hale, call sign Valkyrie, and this is the tale they tried to write for me, the little sister sidelined, the dreamer dismissed. But I grabbed the pen, inked my own chapter, and turned their snickers into stunned silence. Buckle up, because if you've ever been told you're too small, too soft, or too female for the fight, this one's for you. By the end, you'll see why revenge isn't about payback, it's about rising so high they can't look down without getting dizzy. Let's dive in. Growing up Hale meant growing up under the shadow of stars and stripes. Our house on the outskirts of Norfolk wasn't just a home, it was a shrine to service. Dad's den overflowed with framed citations, Purple Heart from Nam, Distinguished Flying Cross for that Harry Huey extraction over the Mekong Delta. He'd recount those tales at the drop of a hat, his eyes glazing over with the kind of pride that borders on possession. "The sky's no place for the faint-hearted, Vicky," he'd say, ruffling my hair like I was still in pigtails. "That's why it's a man's game. You stick to nursing school. Heal the heroes, not chase the glory." Mom nodded along, her apron dusted with flour from another batch of apple pie, the kind that said home is safe, home is soft. She was the glue, the one who patched knees and egos with equal tenderness. "Your father's right, honey. The world's tough enough without adding foxholes to the mix." But Grandpa Edward, Dad's dad, the Korea vet who'd stormed Incheon with nothing but grit and a garand, he'd sneak me contraband stories. Late nights in his shed, surrounded by oil cans and faded maps, he'd whisper about the WAC's, Women's Army Corps, who'd stitched wounds under fire, coded messages that turned tides. "Don't let him box you in, Torai girl," he'd rasp, his liver-spotted hand on mine. "The uniform fits who wears it best, not who they think should." Marcus? He was the golden boy, 5 years my senior, built like a quarterback with the brains of a tactician. High school debate champ, Eagle Scout, and by 16, he'd ace the ASVAB like it was a pop quiz. Air Force all the way, he'd declare at family barbecues, flexing his biceps under that ROTC. And me? I tagged along to air shows, nose pressed to chain link fences, mesmerized by the Thunderbird's diamond formation slicing the sky like diamonds through butter. I'd sketch jets in my notebooks, F-16s with Valkyrie wings, because even then, I knew, wings weren't just metal. They were weapons against doubt. But the jabs started small, insidious as humidity. Hey, Vic, fetch me a Coke? Pilots need hydration. Marcus, lounging by the pool, towel over his eyes. I'd roll mine, but comply, because that's what little sisters do. Dad chuckling, good training for base life, kiddo. Every squadron needs its morale officer. Mom, it's just teasing, sweetie. Means they love you. By high school, it sharpened. I crushed AP Physics, dissected aerodynamics in my sleep, but guidance counselor? Nursing's booming, Victoria. Stable. And with your looks? You'll catch a fine officer. Marcus, overhearing, yeah, sis. Imagine you up there, spilling lattes over the controls. Laughter. Always laughter. I'd laugh too, but it tasted like ash. Sophomore year, I interned at the Naval Hospital, Mom's idea, a taste of real service. I changed bedpans, held hands through nightmares, watched vets like Dad relive hell in their sleep. One night, an old bird colonel, face mapped with scars, gripped my wrist. You got fire in those eyes, girl. Don't waste it on swabs. Fly. For the ones who can't. His words lodged like shrapnel. I aced my community college associates in 2 years flat, nights at the diner slinging hash to pay tuition, days buried in textbooks on thrust vectors and lift coefficients. Marcus shipped off to the academy, postcards boasting of plebe hazing and beerless weekends. Wish you were here, Vic, you'd make killer coffee runs. I burned that one. Age 22, bone-tired from double shifts, I stared at my reflection in the cracked diner mirror, dark circles under hazel eyes, ponytail frayed like my patience. Enough. I applied to the Air Force Academy in secret, essays bleeding with every slight, every sideline dream. Acceptance letter arrived on a rainy Tuesday, Asafa's seal gleaming like a promise. Heart hammering, I waited for family dinner, Dad's famous ribs, Mom's pie, Marcus home on leave, smug as ever. The clatter of forks. The sizzle of sauce. So, Vic, Marcus drawls, wiping his mouth. Still flipping burgers? When you gonna settle down, find a real job? Dad grunts approval. Mom fusses with napkins. I slide the envelope across the oak table, voice steady as steel. Not burgers. Wings. It lands like a grenade. Mom's fork clatters. Dad's brow furrows. Marcus snorts, then chokes on a laugh. The academy? You? Come on, Tori. What's the gig, secretary to the squad? Pouring coffee for the cadets who actually fly? Silence stretches, taut as a guy wire. Dad finally speaks, voice flat, it's a mistake. Place like that, it'll chew you up. Mom, tears welling, oh, honey, nursing so noble. Safer. I stood, chair scraping like thunder. Safer's for spectators, Dad. I'm playing the game. Stormed out to the porch, rain mingling with hot tears. Marcus followed, smirking. Look, sis, I love ya, but face it, you're the cheerleader type. Not the cockpit. I met his eyes, ice to his fire. Watch me, Marcus. One day, you'll salute. He laughed, walked away. But that spark? It ignited. I packed for Colorado Springs 2 weeks later, Mom's hug suffocating, Dad's silence deafening, Grandpa's wink my only send-off. Fly high, Torai girl. The academy hit like a hurricane, for years compressed into a pressure cooker of pain and purpose. Day 1, basic cadet training, hair buzzed to stubble, mine included, no favoritism, uniform starched to cardboard, throat raw from barking yes, sir, to upperclassmen who eyed me like an exhibit. Hail! You lost, sweetheart? Gift shops that way. Cadet First Class Harlan, all buzzcut and bravado, towering over me at formation. Laughter ripples through the squadron. I square shoulders, chin up. No, sir. Reporting for duty. He snorts. We'll see how long that lasts. They called it the zoo, the grind of beast barracks, where sleep was a myth and doubt your drill instructor. Up at 5 o'clock for PT, 5-mile runs through pine-scented trails, lungs burning, legs screaming, while guys twice my size puked in the bushes. Women don't belong in the zoo, one whispered during chow. I overheard, shoveled my oatmeal faster. Academics? A beast of their own, quantum mechanics, astrodynamics, ethics debates on just war. I'd study till my eyes crossed, flashcards my lifeline, fueled by vending machine coffee, ironic, that. Socially? Isolated. Girls were scarce, 20% of the class, and the whispers followed, Hale's here for the ring, not the wings. Engagement bait, they meant. I dated once, a poli-sci major with kind eyes, but he bailed after a month. Too intense, Vic. You're different. But different was my armor. I ran farther, 10 miles before breakfast some days, pounding pavement to silence the echoes of Marcus's mockery. Lifted heavier, deadlifts that left my quads quivering, proving to the spotters who smirked. Studied longer, all-nighters in the library, devouring texts on supersonic flow, Bernoulli's Principle my Bible. Instructors noticed. Captain Reyes, our aero prof, a no-nonsense Latina with her own combat scars, pulled me aside after midterms. You're top 5, Hale. But it's not grades that win wars. It's guts. You got M? I nodded, throat tight. Yes, ma'am. Pouring from an empty cup ain't my style. Call sign came sophomore year, during SFTI, survival, evasion, resistance, escape. We parachuted into the wilds of the Rockies, 48 hours to evade enemy trackers, living off MREs in spite. My team, 3 guys, all academy jocks who'd rather bench press me than follow mine of night 2, blizzard rolls in, visibility 0. They're panicking, compass spinning wild. I pull out my star chart, memorized from Grandpa's stories, triangulate with Polaris. Northwest, 2 clicks. Shelter in that gulch. They grumble. How's a girl know? I snap, same way you do, brains over brawn. We make it, huddle in a cave, frostbite nipping at our toes. Harlan, yeah, that Harlan, claps my back at debrief. All right, coffee girl. That was solid. Coffee girl stuck, morphed to Mavette after I aced my first sim flight, looping a T6 Texan like it was a kite string. Flights. God, the flights. That first solo in the gliders, Schweitzer TG-10, silent as a whisper, thermals lifting me like invisible hands. Ground crew waves me off, and suddenly, I'm free. No engine roar, just wind song, the world shrinking to a patchwork quilt below. Heart soars before the wings do. Powered flights next, T-38 Talons, supersonic screams that vibrate your bones. Instructor, grizzled Major Ellis, mustache like a broom, rides shotgun, barking corrections. Bank left, hail. You're drifting like a drunk pigeon. Sweat beads under my helmet, palms slick on the stick. But I nail it, touchandos at Peterson, loops that defy gravity. Graduation year, I lead the formation team for Parents' Weekend. No family shows, Dad's busy, Mom under the weather, Marcus deployed. Doesn't matter. I fly for the ghost in the seat beside me, the girl who once fetched Cokes. By commissioning, I'm Captain Victoria Hale, bars shiny on my shoulders, wings pinned by Reyes herself. Valkyrie, she dubs me at the ceremony, invoking the Norse choosers of the slain. You choose who flies home. Applause thunders. I scan the crowd, empty seats where Hale should sit. Fine. I'll fill them with missions. Active duty? That's where the fairy tale phrase. First posting, Ramstein Air Base, Germany, gateway to the hot zones. No more Sims, real stakes, real sand in your teeth. I crew an RC-135 rivet joint, signals intel bird, eavesdropping on whispers that could spark wars. 12-hour sorties over the Middle East, eyes glued to scopes, decoding chatter from cells that'd love to paint us with SAMs. Crew, all guys, salt-of-the-earth types who'd slap your back after a bad landing but side-eye your ponytail. Welcome to the club, Valkyrie, says my co-pilot, Lieutenant Danvers, solid dude, but his jokes land like dead bombs. Don't spill the coffee up here. First real milk run, routine recon off the Syrian border, summer 18. Sun beats down like a fist, cabin AC wheezing. Radio's quiet till it's not, burst of Arabic, frantic, coordinates flashing. Insurgents prepping an ambush on a marine patrol. Eagle 1, confirm visuals, base crackles. I lean in, blooming heat signatures, trucks, RPGs, ghosts in the wire. Affirmative. Grid 34 to 56, 6 tangos, armed heavy. My call, vector the fast movers, F-16s from Incirlik. They drop precision, boom boom, signatures wink out. Post-mission debrief, squadron commander, full-bird Colonel Thorne, pins a ribbon on my flight suit. Saved 20 jar heads today, hail. Not bad for a coffee slinger. The room chuckles. I smile, but inside? Sling this. Sexism? It's the invisible drag on your wings. That LT who ignored my vector during a joint op with NATO, nah, let the men handle it, nearly got our wingman lit up. I reported him, quiet as a shadow. He got a slap on the wrist, I got the nickname by the book bitch. Fine. Books win wars. Deployments blurred, 6 months in Qatar, baking under 120 degrees, flying night after night, catnaps in hammocks strung between bunks. Letters home? Rare. Mom's care packages, cookies crumbled to dust, notes begging, come home safe, baby. Nursing school's still open. Dad's silence, a postcard, proud of Marcus's promo. Marcus emails crowing about his F-15 slot, bet you're loving admin, sis. Keep the mugs clean. Then, the crash. Fall 20, over the Hindu Kush, escorting a medevac Black Hawk through a box canyon, Taliban ghosts everywhere. My wing, 2 A-10s, BRRT guns hungry. Wind shear sudden, rotor wash from the Hawk buffets us. Alarm scream, terrain. Terrain. Stick yanks right, but we're kissing granite. Impact, world spins, fireball blooms, ejector seat blasts me into twilight. Tumble, chute blooms late, boots hit scree hard. Co-pilot Ramirez, my stick partner, the one who called me sis without the sting, he's down, leg mangled, flames licking his bird. I drag him 200 yards, AK fire pinging off rocks, medevac thumping in. Purple Heart ceremony back at Bagram, Thorne's voice steady, Hale dragged her crew chief through hell. That's Valkyrie. Medics clap. Ramirez hugs me, tears in his eyes. Oh you, Cap family? A telegram, heard about the scrape. Toughen up. Signed, Dad. Promotions came piecemeal, captain to major after that op, leading a strike package that neutralized an ISIS bomb factory, convoy intact. But the weight? It piled. Hypervigilance, every shadow a Sam, every creak a critique. I'd journal in the dead of night, unsent letters to Marcus, you said I'd pour coffee. Well, I brew it strong, black, no sugar, like the ops that keep me up. Flew 150 hours last month. You? Never mailed. Instead, I mentored the new ensign, Lieutenant Kira Voss, fresh from the academy, eyes wide as saucers. They say girls crack, ma'am. I'd grin, toss her a flight manual. We don't crack, Voss. We shatter ceilings. Christmas 22, 5 years gone. Invite home dings my inbox, family reunion. Marcus's big promo bash. I stare at the screen in my Ramstein quarters, snow dusting the window. Why not? Book leave, fly commercial, first time in years without wings. Norfolk greets me like an old bruise, humid chill, magnolias mocking. Mom hugs till I bruise, Dad grunts a hey, kid, Marcus, now Major Hale, chest puffed, slaps my back. Vic. Still slinging Joe on base? Bet the pilots love your smile. Dinner, turkey dry as regret, wine flowing. Stories fly, Marcus's dogfight sims, Dad's war yarns recycled. Me? Oh, you know. Paperwork. Coffee runs. They nod, sympathetic. Mom always knew you'd shine in support. Inside, I simmer. Support? I am the spear. The plan forms over pie. Marcus's promo ceremony streams live next week. Big deal, Eglin AFB, full honors. Dad's pulling strings for VIP seats. I hack the roster, perks of Intel access, slot myself as surprise guest speaker. For services rendered, the admin emails back. Perfect. Week blurs, awkward family time. Marcus corners me in the garage, beer in hand. Look, Tori, I was a jerk back then. But seriously, military life's brutal. You okay? His eyes, for once, soft. I almost spill, the crashes, the kills, the quiet after a sortie when you wonder if you're still whole. Instead, yeah, bro pouring my heart into it. He laughs, relieved. Dad joins, tools clinking. That's my girl. Keep the home fires burning. Mom knits in the corner, oblivious. Grandpa's photo watches from the mantel, winking. Ceremony day, Eglin tarmac gleams under Florida sun, F-35s parked like silver sentinels. I'm in dress blues, silver oak leaves hidden under my cover, lieutenant colonel now, bumped last month for that compound raid over Yemen, 50 hostiles down, 0 blue on blue. Stage thrums with brass, generals, senators, rows of crisp uniforms. Stream goes live, I know the folks are glued at home, Marcus preening in his seat. MC, General Harlan, my old nemesis turned ally, takes the mic today. We honor Major Marcus Hale, but first, a special commendation. For valor in the face of fire, leadership that turned tides, please welcome Lieutenant Colonel Victoria Hale, call sign Valkyrie. gasps ripple. I stride out, boots echoing, salute crisp. Harlan pins the Legion of Merit for Yemen, but really, for every slight swallowed. Colonel Hale's ops have saved countless lives, from the cockpit to command. Applause crashes like thunder. Cut to home feed, I hack that to Marcus's face, mid-sip of scotch, freezes. Glass slips, amber spills, cough hacking through the speakers. Mom's hand flies to mouth. Dad stands, slow, eyes wet. Vicky. I take the mic, voice steady, carrying to 1,000 screens. Service isn't about who pours the coffee, it's about who flies the mission. Who drags the wounded from the wreck. Who stares down the storm and says, "Not today." To my family watching, I didn't pour coffee, Marcus. I brewed the storm. And yeah, bro, choke on that. Laughter swells, then cheers. Offstage, Marcus waits, face ashen. Hugs me fierce. Holy shit, Vic Colonel? I'm sorry. Dad next, voice breaking, proud, kid. So damn proud. Mom sobs, my Valkyrie. Aftermath? A whirlwind. Home leave extends, dinners where Dad asks real questions, tell me about the crash. Marcus shadows me, hungry for stories, his ego deflated but growing. Teach me recon tricks, sis? I do, over beers on the porch, cicadas our chorus. But the real win? VA hospital visit, Norfolk chapter. Rows of beds, women like me, WASP pilots from World War II, Gulf War chopper jockeys, Afghani interpreters turned stateside. I speak, they said we'd pour coffee. We flew the fight. Make MCS, not as supports, but as the spine. Tears, hugs, a yen vet, prosthetic leg, eyes fierce, whispers, "Ma'am, sign me up." Back at base, I train boss's replacement, Ensign Lena Torres, firecracker with a physics PhD, call sign, she asks. Earn it, I grin. Flights resume, now I'm wing commander, 50 souls under me, sorties over the Pacific, eyes on China seas. Nights? Journaling sent letters now, Marcus, flew with you in spirit today. Keep climbing. He replies, copy, Valkyrie. Coffee's on me next leave. Looking back, from that porch swing to this command chair, it's not revenge that fueled me. It's reclamation. They wrote me as the pourer, I scripted the pilot. The sister who fetched cokes became the colonel who commands storms. And if you're listening, doubting your own wings, don't wait for permission. Strap in. Ignite. The sky's big enough for us all.